Hello and welcome to the Sisterhood of Motherhood Podcast. I hope you're doing well. I'm so happy you are here with me today. And I hope your children are doing well, no matter how small they are or how old they are. Today we're going to go over one more new education theory. We discussed Bloom's taxonomy, which was how to distinguish different ways of communicating with young children versus teenagers. And we also had gone over ADDIE, which was an acronym that curriculum publishers use that you can also use to guide your projects into success. And ADDIE stood for analyze, develop, design, then develop, then implement, and evaluate. And today I'm going to show you Maslow's hierarchy of needs and how that is going to help to explain motivation and why your children pursue things and why they don't care about things. Also, I'm going to discuss the virtuous wife and what the scripture explains in detail what a virtuous woman is, and also how to enroll in homeschooling, and finally preserving fresh food naturally. So first off, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. His idea suggests that the most basic level of needs must be met before an individual will strongly desire a secondary or higher level of their needs. So Maslow coined the term meta-motivation and to describe the motivation of people who go beyond the scope of basic needs and strive for consistent betterment. So he claims that, which is true, the brain is a complex system and has parallel processes running at the same time. So you might have many different motivations going on at the same time. So what is his hierarchy? The very first level of needs that must be met, that you are motivated to meet, even subconsciously, is your psychological needs. That's food, water, warmth, and rest. These are needs that need to be met before you might be motivated to go to the second level, which is seeking out security and safety. So the psychological needs are the base of the hierarchy, and these needs are the biological component for human survival. And according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, psychological needs are factored into internal motivation, and humans are compelled to satisfy those needs first before pursuing higher levels of intrinsic satisfaction. The next level after security and safety that one would seek would be belongingness, love, intimate relationships, friends. And this makes a lot of sense, because when you see somebody that's very aloof, they might not have, according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, they might not feel like they have their needs met psychologically or the second level of safety and security. So they're not going to care about the third level. Once they will have those needs met, the next level up is esteem needs. That's prestige, feeling of accomplishment. And then after that is self-actualization, achieving one's full potential, including creative activities. So the person struggling to meet their psychological needs will be unwilling to seek safety or belonging or esteem or self-actualization on their own. So that is, in a nutshell, Maslow's ideas and Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And as an educator, but a mom, and as speaking to other moms, I kind of like to just give you a snapshot of these things that are taught in the educational realm in universities, because this is what the educators are thinking when they're developing programs or looking at people's needs. And they do make sense, a lot of them, scientifically. Of course, we bring everything back to our prayer life, and we bring everything back to God's will. What's going on? What does He want us to work on and do? But I just wanted you to be aware of Maslow's theories. Now, the next thing I want to share is a virtuous wife. You know, the Bible details this succinctly in Proverbs. It's Proverbs, I think 30 or 31. I don't have the actual chapter number. But here is the text of it. The virtuous wife. Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax and willingly works with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She also rises up while it is yet night, and provides food for her household, and a portion for her maidservants. She considers a field and buys it. From her profits she plants a vineyard. She girds herself with strength and strengthens her arms. She perceives that her merchandise is good, and her lamp does not go out by night. She stretches out her hands to the distaff, and her hand holds the spindle. She extends her hand to the poor. Yes, she reaches out her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household is clothed with scarlet. She makes tapestry for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies sashes for the merchants. Strength and honor are her clothing. She shall rejoice in time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is in the law of kindness. She watches over the ways of her household, and does not eat the bread of idleness. And her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, he praises her. Many daughters have done well, but you excel them all. Charm is deceitful, and beauty is passing. But a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. And here the fear of the Lord translates in the Strong's Concordance to the reverence, deep reverence and respect. So the virtuous wife, there you go, it's in the Word. As a mom and as a woman, read that and weigh yourself against it. And we have to remember, like in the last podcast I talked about Romans, that God evaluates and judges us on that we have, not that we don't have. Which means you don't have to go seeking to improve yourself in order to be accepted. And in the context of that truth, he tells us, be a giver, a cheerful giver from that which you have. So don't be anxious about becoming the perfect wife or the perfect anything, but you might find something in that can help you and teach you and encourage you and confirm or validate some of the things that you've been making sacrifices for, right? So next I want to talk about the big enchilada. How do you homeschool? So here is a snippet of how you would homeschool. The first thing you do is enroll. So you would enroll in homeschooling one of two ways. You call your district and you say, I want to enroll in homeschooling, and they'll tell you exactly what to do. Then you're enrolled. And the second way to enroll in homeschooling is join an umbrella school in your area. The Florida Parent Educator Association, FPEA, they have a list of all the umbrella schools in your area. We have a statewide umbrella school, and Family Tree Private School is an example of an umbrella school for homeschoolers. So you enroll. So those are the two ways. The next thing you do is you get organized. We have charts and forms on our website for free. Parents can access the free information to choose activities and curricula to accomplish homeschooling. And this information is available whether you homeschool with the district or with our school or with another school. And these charts and graphs are very detailed, in a few videos too, how to start out your school year, an orientation first day of school plan, how to use daily goal charts, how to set up a little office area for your students, how to organize the folders in the portfolio collection. All of that is on my charts and forms, right on my homepage of familytreehomeschool.com, available to you. You will also learn, when you begin your actual work, is the term benchmarks. Benchmarks are outlines of everything a student must learn. And these benchmarks refer to the content students should learn at each grade level based upon the experts. They're good to know when you want to individualize your students' instruction. Many programs will summarize benchmarks, but they'll call them goals and objectives, the content outline, table of contents, index, scope and sequence charts. This tells you what your child needs to learn. And then they will give you their method and material to do it. And just as a side note, it really only takes about 2.5 to 3 hours a day for your child to do their academics. Because remember, the regular schools, they fill their day with homeroom, lunch, recess, specials, art, music, special speakers, and that takes up almost half of the day, and transition to and from classes too. So I just want you to know that when you do get everything organized on these charts and forms, and you've picked a curriculum and you know their benchmarks, you're going to do their work, and it's not going to take a lot of time. Also, just to let you know that these benchmarks will tell you how to personalize your education. I had a family that was into Civil War reenactment as a family. It was their hobby. So when they got to the curriculum part that talked about some American history and Civil War era content, they skipped it. They just said, we're not going to do that, and they went to the next thing. So that's why you follow the benchmarks, and the best advice I can give is pick 1 or 2 major publishers and just follow them, and all the other ones you can plug in here and there and tailor make your own education activities. So let's see, you can mix and match different curricula to fit your goals, and a good practice, like I said, is to pick 1 or 2 major publishers to follow, then create, add, or replace schoolwork as needed. Civic recreation programs, homeschooling, cooperatives, or private classes in your community are all great resources. The other 3 major points I want you to know is a learning style inventory. I have one on my website, because knowing your students' learning style will help you pick more effective curricula and strategies. A visual learner, for example, learns very much more differently than a hands-on learner. So review the learning styles and take that online survey. Testing. Testing is always used as a tool to assess the progress and is an important part of your education to help you make decisions. For example, the college's SAT prep test, or the free K-12 online diagnostic placement test with ACE Ministries will show you which areas to work. One other point about curricula is create lessons or assign activities as part of your program using the benchmarks. And I have links on the website, ixl.com, financial literacy lesson plans, early beginnings for preschoolers, or one of my favorites, internet4classrooms.com. Internet, the number 4, and classrooms.com. They have free worksheets and problems to work out in every subject with all the answer keys, all for free. And the last thing I want to go over is Preserving Fresh Food Naturally. I have a book available on Amazon, Preserving Fresh Food Naturally, a crash course for beginners. And preserving food is a practice ingrained in American culture and is a strategy to survive hard economic times during the Great Depression. But also you can take advantage of bulk sales of fruits and vegetables that are being sold at a discount because it's the end of the season. You can also really improve your health by eating fresh food that you preserve. And in the book, the last chapter talks in detail about that. And I want to give you one more resource, a man named Matthew Hunter on YouTube. He has details of medicinal plants of the Southeast, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot of his steps to preserve and use different herbs that are growing right in my fields, mullein and, well, I have lemon balm already. But anyway, his book and his YouTube channel is priceless. Again, Matthew Hunter. And that's it for today. So I want to thank you for coming and participating and being part of the Sisterhood of Motherhood podcast. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.